Meanwhile, Bahamas is on a high alert as the island braces for Category 4 Hurricane Dorian. Authorities have asked residents and tourists to evacuate and take shelter in the temporary camps. The alert has also been issued to the U.S. state of Florida. However, the storm's impact on the coastal state is expected to be much more than that which would be experienced in Bahamas.
And I think that's really what we're going to be looking for in terms of the forecast is when does it start to turn north? If it starts to turn north sooner rather than later in terms of on its track, well, then that's going to be better for Florida. If it keeps chugging towards the coast and does that late turn, then we get in a situation where we could have interactions with the actual hurricane force winds, and that will cause a lot of damage if that runs up the coast, and that will be a very big threat to people who live on those islands. The Bahamas are going to get absolutely leveled by this thing because this thing's a strong storm. The Bahamas are flat. They got no defense to this storm, and it's going to churn over there. It's going to dump perhaps 2 feet of rain on the Bahamas. There aren't a lot of good places to evacuate in the Bahamas. I mean, so say a prayer for the people there because they're about to face something that's mighty strong.
Now, the Florida Power Supply Authority has said that its employees have been working around the clock and that emergency crew was ready to respond to potential power outages that could be caused by the hurricane.
What I can tell you is this: we are working around the clock. Literally 24 hours a day we'll have people in the field. These crews work 16-hour days. I need them to get a little bit of rest so they can actually not make a mistake and get killed. But we will not stop until the lights come on. And our goal is to get the largest number of people on as fast as possible. We'll start with the power plants. Then we'll go to all the critical infrastructure facilities that each county designates, things like hospitals, fire, police, 911 call centers. And then we'll go to the largest lines so we can get the largest number of people up the fastest we can. And we will not stop until the job is done.
The residents were also seen preparing for Dorian's landfall. The storm is expected to hit 3 more U.S. states of Georgia, North and South Carolinas as well. Meanwhile, there's been yet another mass shooting that has taken place in the United States, this time round in the state of Texas, that has resulted in the deaths of at least 5 people, with 21 others who are reported to be injured. Now, at least 3 police officers are said to be amongst those who have suffered injuries. Now, the wounded also include a child who is said to be about 2 years old. Now, the young toddler remains in a critical condition, according to the doctors. The gunman reportedly went on a killing spree when he was driving in the western cities of Odessa and Midland. Now, the police have confirmed that the suspect was a white male who is said to be in his 30s and who has now been shot dead. The police have said that the shooter was shot and killed at the parking lot at a movie theater in a tense standoff.
Out of those 13, we have had 2 that have been treated and released. We have 7 that are critical. When I say critical, most of those have been in surgery and are out of surgery. 7 of those. Okay, those are critical. 2 serious, 1 deceased, and we have 1 transferred, a pediatric patient under the age of 2 years old that was transferred out of here. Okay, so I'll go over those one more time. 7 critical, 2 serious, 1 deceased, 1 transferred under the age of 2 years old. Okay, 8 we've had 8 people total in surgery, and most of those are out and have gone very well.
The incident began after an officer pulled over a vehicle that was driving on a highway in the Midlands, after which the driver suddenly opened fire at the officer before stealing a U.S. Postal Service van. Now, the gunman then went around the cities randomly, started shooting at people. And also, U.S. President Donald Trump took to Twitter and said that the FBI and the law enforcement are fully engaged. Now, the Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence, has said that the situation is very closely being monitored and full resources of the federal government have been deployed.
I just spoke to the President, and he's at Camp David, and he's closely monitoring the developments in the investigation in the mass shooting in Odessa. Our hearts go out to all the victims, families who had loved ones lose their lives. We commend law enforcement in Odessa for their swift and courageous response. But at the President's direction, we deployed the full resources of the federal government. They're on site. The President spoke to the Attorney General. The FBI is already assisting local law enforcement in the investigation going forward.
Now, the shooting comes exactly 4 weeks after the El Paso shooting incident that had left 22 people dead and 24 others injured.